you need motivation, yeah, get through the day, just tune in, cause we'll make a way. Positivity. So if you need empowerment to make a change, just start with today and tune into Pancake Monday. Pancake Monday with Pastor OJS. OJS. Oh yes. Oh yes. Pancake Monday. Pancake Monday with Pastor OJS. OJS. Oh yes.
Ladies and gentlemen, brothers and sisters, Happy New Year and welcome to Season 2 of Man Cave Monday. I am so excited about this season and I want to thank you guys for your continued support last year and last season. Now we're in a new year. 2021 is going to be amazing. And today I'm so excited to open up Season 2 with a very, very special guest. Y'all know that I am a proud alumni of Morris Brown College in Atlanta, Georgia. Came through the best early childhood education department in the world. And so today I am privileged to have the very esteemed president of Morris Brown College. His name is Dr. Kevin James, and he is our guest today. How are you, sir? Happy New Year to you.
Happy New Year. Good afternoon. How are you, sir?
I am doing well, and I know that you are busy, but I thank you for taking the time to come into the Man Cave.
Absolutely. Thank you for having me. Thank you very much.
Absolutely. So you are the esteemed president, as I said, of my alma mater. I am a proud HBCU grad and a financial supporter of my HBCU, which is very, very important. But let's talk a little bit about your journey. There may be some people who live under a rock and don't know who you are, don't know your background. Now, you're originally from South Carolina, correct?
Yes, Columbia, South Carolina. I actually was born in Americus, Georgia, but I never lived there.
Okay.
Shortly after my parents finished college and moved to South Carolina,
Gotcha.
After they finished their doctorate degrees, and they became educators, got a job in Columbia, and that's where I was raised.
Okay.
And so I'm originally from Columbia. I moved to Atlanta about 6 years ago. I accepted a dean's position, a dean of a college here in Atlanta, and I've been here ever since. Loving Atlanta.
So you've held a number of positions throughout the years. You are a very young man. Let's not discount that fact. You lived a lot. You've done
the
a
gray's
lot.
Popping in a little bit.
At least you had to have gray in, dog. I had to go ahead and come on home because it was.
There you go.
It was happening to me. You have served as past interim CEO of the 100 Black Men of America, giving leadership to that very prestigious group, and just a number of things. Y'all can check out his bio, of course. Just Google him. There's so much about him. I must say that you are a different kind of president. You brought an energy to Morris Brown College that was certainly much needed. And we're going to get into the whole Morris Brown story, but just kind of talk about, who you are as a person. I've seen some shots out there of you doing some different things, man. And you
Did you see me riding my motorcycle? Is that what you saw?
I've seen you on a motorcycle. I've seen you on a drum set. I've seen you doing some things that presidents don't normally do, but it's a breath of fresh air. I even understand that you were or are a member of KK Psi.
Absolutely, marching band fraternity. When I was in college, I started my college career at South Carolina State University. And I went to South Carolina State HBCU because I wanted to march in their band. And I was a music education major. And I just fell in love with the brothers of KK Psi very early on. They were the leaders of the band. They were the hype men of the band. They were the folks who got it funky. And so I really, really liked the organization. And I joined back in spring of 1997.
Gotcha.
And I marched in the South Carolina State Marching Band for 4 years.
I applaud that. I admire that because one of my goals when I went to Morris Brown was, of course, to be a marching Wolverine. But in high school, I was jazz band. And so we wore tuxedos.
What instrument?
Trumpet.
Okay. Okay.
So we wore tuxedos and bow ties and what have you. Man, I get on the field, first practice, Dr. Eddie Ellis, Morris Brown, they were calling me a crab. They made me do some
There you
stuff
go.
that the jazz band didn't make me do. I said, I'm done. I'm good. I'm retiring. So that was the end of my band days. But
Oh, yeah.
how we love that HBCU band experience.
Absolutely. You know, Morris Brown is world renowned because of the marching band and as well as the movie Drumline. And so
Doc,
Morris Brown's a household name.
let me tell you what I'm going through down here in Tallahassee, right?
Yeah.
I am in the home of the FAMU Rattlers.
There you go.
And so they try and act as if FAMU is just the greatest.
That's good.
And I get it. You know what I mean? I get it. You know, Dr. Julian White is a great friend of mine. I interviewed him last season in the Man Cave premier marching band. However,
There you go.
I do have to remind these folks that Drumline was not just a movie. Morris Brown has been in this business and running it for a long time. So thank you for reiterating that, sir.
Absolutely.
Thank you. So you are now, again, the president of Morris Brown College. I graduated in 2001, and then somewhere around 2002, 2003 is when the trouble hit. And we know what we've been through. It's been well documented as a university, losing the federal accreditation, which a whole lot of HBCUs are in danger of, even if they've never experienced it. But what has been your task in your short time? Because Morris Brown is back, never left, but Morris Brown is certainly on the road to recovery. There's some amazing things happening. So just kind of tell us what's going on.
Sure. Well, the Board of Trustees hired me for one reason and one reason only, and that was to resurrect and save Morris Brown College. And not only to bring her from the grave, but then for her to be able to thrive again. And so it was a heavy task. It is a heavy task. It's a heavy lift, but we're absolutely moving the college forward. And I'm so excited that under this administration, we're able literally to be a part of history. I call it the hard reset.
Yes.
And literally when I came in, it's exactly what we had to do. We had to stop, focus, and reset our mind, our priorities, everything that we were doing as an institution to save the institution, to earn us accreditation back, and to then build the enrollment and the student growth and everything else, academic programs, everything from there. And so I came in as the interim president in March of 2019. Wow, almost 2 years already. Golly, time flies.
Yeah.
But yeah, you know, we came in and we really reset. I knew that the institution was in a bad position, but I didn't really know how bad until my first day. My first day on the job, you know, we were several paychecks behind. We hadn't paid a lot of bills in over a year, you know, but, you know, God has been with this institution, and I can absolutely prove that. My first day on the job, I asked for all the bills, and we had noticed that we hadn't paid the light bill in over a year, but the lights were on. But the lights were still on,
Wow.
right? And working with all our debtors, you know, they understood where Morris Brown has come from, and we were able to garner support like none other of individuals working with us and the community, and had to really focus on our academics and moving the institution forward to become approved by the said agencies, required agencies, to be able to move the school forward. So we submitted our application to the Georgia Non-Public Post-Secondary Education Commission. That took about 10, 11 months to get done. And so in October of last year, we were able to become an official college in the state of Georgia through that agency. And then we also were working on our accreditation application with the Transnational Association of Christian Colleges and Schools, TRACS. And we submitted that application. And I'm so excited to announce that about a month ago, that application was approved.
Awesome.
And the accreditors are on the way here. I'm not exactly sure when this is going to air, but they will be here January 5th through the 8th for their review. So we look forward to a good on-site visit from those individuals, and I'm hoping that we can be eligible for federal financial aid after we become a candidate, hopefully in April of 2019. I'm sorry, April of 2021.
Yes, sir. And wow, that's a phenomenal journey, you know, that we have been on, and to see the progress happen so fast in a short period of time. What do you say to those who don't feel the confidence in HBCUs?
I'm sorry, you kind of went blank for a second.
I said, what do you say to those who have lost confidence or those who cast aspersions on HBCUs? It's 2021. There's no need for HBCUs anymore. We've overcome that. What do you say about the relevance of the HBCU?
Well, the whole premise of why HBCUs were created in the first place is because we were not allowed in their institutions, in primarily white institutions. A lot of our HBCUs were founded right after slavery. Now, Cheney University, which was founded in 1837, of course, was in existence prior to that. They're in Philadelphia area, up in Pennsylvania. But historically, Black colleges were the safe spaces and safe havens for African Americans and those of color to go and become educated, get educated. Since 1964, institutions who were founded for African Americans prior to 1964 were designated that federal designation of being a historically Black college. Here in 2021, anyone who says that HBCUs are no longer relevant, my response simply is you have not seen the data. Period. 80% of Black doctors and judges attended HBCUs. 50% of teachers, accountants, lawyers, dentists, pharmacists. I mean, just every field of endeavor that you can think of, primarily were educated at historically Black colleges and universities, just period. Now, let's not even get your most comfortable in being safe havens, right? Right now, with everything that's going on in the country regarding race, HBCU is the safest place for an African American to be right about.
Believe it, yes.
Right? So when you put together the data and then when you put together the safe spaces, taking care of us, having the best type of education for us, I mean, HBCUs are undeniably relevant in the United States, and quite frankly, the organization that is responsible for the Black middle class. Period. HBCUs are more important today than ever before.
I believe that, sir, and you are on it. I got to shout my dad out, who of course is a board member there serving along with you at Morris Brown, but also a 1969 graduate. So I'm a second generation Wolverine, and I'll keep it real with you, Doc. When I graduated high school in 1997, I had no options because my GPA coming out of high school was like a 1 point something. I was not focused. I was not, I didn't think I wanted to go to college. I just wanted to be a musician and do my thing. But Morris Brown accepted me. Morris Brown nurtured me, gave me an opportunity. And here I am, 2.5 years away from getting my doctorate degree from another HBCU at Virginia Union. But had it not been for Morrisbrown College, I wouldn't be where I am today. And so I'm grateful for that dynamic that you talk about.
Absolutely. And that is so many people's stories. A lot of times, first college generation students, those who may not have the financial resources to go to a University of Georgia or Harvard or Georgia Tech or something like that, HBCUs do so much more with less. And Absolutely.
And that's been a lot of people's testimony. And you having gone to an HBCU for undergrad, that makes, all of the difference. So moving forward, we are now in the process of getting our accreditation together, and that is coming together. What is going to be the new dynamic at Morris Brown College?
Well, I would love to see Morris Brown as one of the top historically Black colleges in the state of Georgia, in this region, of course, in the state, in the country. And we want to make sure that we offer a phenomenal education. We want to be a safe place for anyone to come to learn, and we want to push out the future leaders of this country. The institution is going to look a little bit different than when you were here, because during bankruptcy, we lost 36 acres of land. So right now, we're going to have to as we resurrect, utilize what we have remaining. With the Mercedes-Benz Stadium having been built across the street, a lot of the property around the institution has been sold and or acquired by someone else they're not going to let go of it, right?
Yeah.
So online learning will be a huge component of our resurrection. I don't really like the word commuter school, but being a place where folks can come in and out, because again, we don't have dorms. So that's going to be a component of where we're going. But at the end of the day, we're going to do a phenomenal job of educating with some phenomenal academic programs. We've revised all of our academic programs, and we're going to be a very competitive institution and a good choice for folks who are interested in getting a higher education.
I think God's hand was in all of this, and the shift that we see happening even in the world in the last few years. And let's say 10 years ago, when people got a degree from the University of Phoenix online, right? Grand Canyon University, and people would sort of cast aspersion on that kind of degree. But now here we are in a pandemic. Coming out of a pandemic, and everybody's degree is online now. And I get, absolutely. I get what God is doing in this season, because now you do have people who can connect with Morris Brown College, who don't have to necessarily live in Atlanta, but can get a good quality, education. The world has changed now. Technology has afforded us great opportunities. And so I'm excited to hear you say that, because the shift is on.
Yes, it's absolutely a shift. The pandemic did push everybody into online learning sphere, and it's here to stay, period. Now that we have technology like this, where you're in Florida, I'm here in Atlanta, and we're talking like we're across the table from each other.
Right.
I mean, you can do just about anything now with technology. You can do it on your phone. You can do it sitting in your bedroom. I mean, the world has completely changed, and we have to change along with it.
Absolutely. We know that tomorrow, January the 5th, is a very critical election in the state of Georgia. And I read and I saw the other day where you had one of the candidates, John Ossoff, to come up to campus and, give his support and give a commitment to Morris Brown College in terms of making sure that it has the support that it needs in the future. How critical, first of all, how critical is this election, but also how critical is it for our elected officials to be aware of our story and be willing to support it?
Sure. Well, first of all, this election, this runoff is extremely critical for the entire United States of Georgia. And it's so interesting that it's coming, again, Georgia is literally leading this country regarding how we are going to look in the next 6 months to a year to 2 years to 4 years, right?
Yeah.
And so it's very, very important. I encourage all of your viewers to make sure that you vote. As a nonprofit, I can't tell you who to vote for.
Of course.
And I want to just say that all of our candidates were invited. John Ossoff accepted the invitation, and I was so excited to have him here because I had heard him speak on other platforms about Morris Brown, about how he wanted to bring support to help resurrect the institution. And so it was so exciting to hear his plan regarding historically Black colleges and universities, how he was going to support Morris Brown. And at the end of the day, it is very important on the left and the right, the blue and the red, that these individuals, that our politicians, support historically Black colleges and universities. Like I mentioned a little earlier, no other institution affects the Black middle class like HBCUs. And so we have to make sure that we're supporting, because again, when you talk about diversity, when you talk about STEM education, when you talk about leadership and management and business for African Americans, that's coming out of HBCUs.
It's critical.
The data proves it. So we have to have all of our politicians continue to support HBCUs, and not just in talk, but in action and financially. These policies and procedures and all this think they have to touch the HBC all the way around.
Absolutely. Dr. Eddie S. Glad wrote a book called Democracy in Black. And he talks about how the financial element of our recovery, there needs to be an investment from Congress, from the Senate, from our local communities. It can't just be talk. It can't just be promises. It's got to be a financial and economic turnaround in order for us to get justice. So I certainly echo your comments with regard to that. So shifting a little bit to, again, the personal side of Dr. Kevin James. We know you're president. We know that you are doing great things in terms of, the boardroom and all of that you bring to that space. But I learned something else about you. You and my dad have this in common. I pray for y'all every day. You are an Omega man.
There you go. Purple.
I guess the Sigmas just weren't on the yard that year that you decided to join.
Are you a Sigma?
Yes, sir. Fall 99, Zeta chapter, Morris Brown College. I guess.
Are you serious? What did your father have to say about that?
Yeah, well, he didn't have much to say because the Omega men were off the yard that semester at Morris Brown. You know how that goes. But,
there you go.
What is
God bless you. We like the blue and white as well.
Yeah, thank you, sir. We all family. That divine line family. But between that and KK Psi, you have, you're very well rounded, and I think you have a heart, for the community and for the people. How important is it for Morris Brown to still be active in that community that it sits in? That's that MLK corridor. Of course, It's in Atlanta University Center, but what does Morris Brown mean to the neighborhood that it sits in?
It means everything. Community is actually one of our core values, and we're right here in the Vine City community. This community has supported Morris Brown through the good times and the bad, and we will never turn our back on the community, and we ask for continued support from this community and the Atlanta community and the surrounding communities as well. And so giving back to the community, being a pillar here in the community, it is one of my top focuses. I want Morris Brown to become a pillar in this community, or continue to be a pillar, and to do things not just in talk, but actually bring resources to the community. So, for example, I would like to create jobs. We're in the process right now of building a hotel here at Morris Brown College that will bring jobs to this community. I want to make sure that the community has access to be able to apply for those jobs. We're going to be looking at bringing different speakers and different events here to Morris Brown. And we want the Vine City community and surrounding community to be a part of that. So community is extremely important to us. We just received a $1 million grant for HIV and AIDS education, specifically written for the Fulton County community.
Wow.
So we're going to be doing seminars here, workshops, giving out free HIV and AIDS tests, STD testing, working with the constituents regarding decreasing HIV and AIDS spread, awareness, all of the above. Job opportunities, being a bridge to different resources such as the Urban League and other organizations like that. So community is everything to Morris Brown. As you know, because you went here, Morris Brown is a family. So community is, again, it's ingrained in our culture and in our DNA and who we are. And so we want to continue continuing to be a leader and a pillar here in the Vine City community.
That's fantastic to hear. And I'm thankful to you because you have brought your heart to this. It's not just a job for you. It's not just a position to hold. I would dare say that you didn't need this position, but Morris Brown certainly needed you in a season like this. And I'm so grateful. If you want to be financially supportive to Morris Brown College, all you got to do is log on to morrisbrown.edu, and all of the links are there that you can give financially. Shouts out to all the alumni. This is the time for us to step up. No matter when you graduated, no matter if you stayed there 1 year or if you went 4 years plus, it's time for us to step up and give support to this president, especially because there are things that are needed there, and we got to come to the table ready, certainly to work. And I'm here in Florida, but I'm going to do all I can to spread the word. I'm even let all these rattlers down here know where I'm from. I have to remind them that I'm a Wolverine at heart, but I got to be careful because my wife teaches math at FAMU. So I got
there you go.
So at least once a month, I'm a rattler, no matter what. And she graduated undergrad from Southern, so it's all over the place around here. But Dr. James, thank you for agreeing to come. Is there anything else in closing that you want to say to our audience today?
Just keep your eyes on Bureau Morris Brown College. If you want to get alerts from Morris Brown, you can go to our website and sign up for the communications, where you get the alerts of all the great news and things that are going on here at the institution. And again, like you mentioned, please
Absolutely, sir. And we are going to do that. You all, this is Dr. Kevin James. He is president of my alma mater, Morris Brown College, and I'm so excited that he came into the Man Cave today. Sir, thank you again for agreeing to come. And y'all tune in next week. We'll have another guest right here on Man Cave Monday. This is Pastor OJS. This is Dr. Kevin James, President. Sir, God bless you. Our prayers are with you, and we will certainly be in touch with you in the very, very near future.
Very good. Thank you, sir, for having me.
Yes, sir.